and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to make an app for field force management. Now, field force management can include many types, such as attendance trackers, sales tracker, marketing activity tracker, visitor management, and much more. In this video, we will look at how to make a sales tracker. If you would like to know how to create attendance trackers, you can check out our other video for that. You can automate many operations of field force management through Clappia, and since you can also work in offline mode, it results in higher efficiency. So let's see how to make an app for field sales tracker. Since I'll be creating the app from scratch, I'll click on New App in my workplace. Here in the Design app, you can create your app. We start off first by giving a name to our app, which I will name it as Sales Tracker. Then I will click on Add Section, and you can give a name to this section on the right hand panel over here under Section Name. I will name the first section as Customer Information. Now I'll click on Save. Then I can click on Add Field to add the relevant fields for this particular section. So for example, if I want to capture the name of the customer, I can click on the single line text block, and I can configure this block on the right hand panel over here. I will first change the label into Customer Name. Then I'll click on Save. If I want to capture the customer's email ID, again I can click on the single line text block and change the label name into Customer Email. If you want the user to input only a valid email ID, you can go to the advanced option, and under validation, you can click over here and select email. So you cannot enter any random text apart from a valid email ID. Next, if you want to capture the customer's phone number, you can click on the phone number block over here. If you want to change the default country code, you can select the options over here. Since this is the default country code I need and the label name is just phone number, I will just simply click on Save. Now if I want to capture the location of the customer, I can use the GPS location block. This is very useful in capturing the exact location upon submission. So on the right hand panel under label, I can change the name to location of the customer. And in the advanced section, if I want the system to automatically capture the current location, I can keep this option as enabled. And if I do not want the user who is making a submission to make any changes to the location manually, I can keep this as disabled. Now I'll click on Save. So these are the basic details I can capture for customer information section. Now I can click on Add Section to capture other relevant details. To give a name to this section, again on the right hand panel, I will name it as Order Details. Click on Save. Now again I can click on Add Field to add the relevant fields for this particular section. So this section will capture information on what a customer is purchasing. So if I want to list the items, I can use the drop down block, and on the right hand panel I can change the label into item name. And then under options, I can list the items one after the other, keeping in mind that there are no spaces after each word. Now I'll click on Add Field. Now if I want to add the price and quantity of the item, I can use the single line text block. Here on the right hand side, for this particular block, I will change it to price. Here if you only want numbers to be input by a user, you can go to the advanced option. Under validation, you can select number. So no text can be input except for numbers. Click on Save. Now for quantity, again I will click on Add Field. Add another single line text block, and on the right hand side under label, I will change it to quantity. Again, I can go to the advanced option, select validation as number. To calculate the amount, I can click on Add Field and then use the calculation and logic block. Under label, I will change it to amount. And under the formula option, you can implement calculation and logic over here. If you have worked with spreadsheets earlier, you would have come across implementing various types of calculations and logic, such as if, else, or etc. Same can be done in Clappia as well. We share a similar library, but in place of cell numbers, we have the concept of variable names, which you can find at the top of every field in brackets. So to calculate the amount, it will be price into quantity. So over here under formula, I will type in @price into @quantity. This will implement the logic in your app. Now I click on Save. If a customer purchases more than one item, for the drop-down selection, you can only select one option from a list of options. To select multiple options and get the corresponding price and quantity and the final amount, you can turn this particular section into a copyable section. For this, I will select the section, Order Details, and then under the advanced option, I will enable Allow Section to be copied during submission. You can set the maximum number of copies that you can make in the app. For example, if you want 10 copies, you can set the value as 10. If you want it as 5, you can set it as 5. It all depends on your requirements. To get a copied section, there will be a link provided at the bottom of a section, and you can change the name of that text. So over here, I will change it to Add Another Item. Now I'll click on save. Since this section, order details will only show me the amount of the corresponding item, and I would like to know the total amount paid by the customer. So over here again, I will click on add section and I will give a name to the section as summary. Next, I'll click on add field and then select calculations and logic block. On the right hand panel, I will change the label into order amount. Now under the formula, again I can implement the calculation. For copyable sections, if you want to add the total amount in all the copies, instead of using a simple addition formula, you will have to use sigma and then at the rate amount. Now I'll click on save. Similarly, if you want to know the total number of products purchased by the customer, you can add another field here. Click on calculations and logic. On the label, I will change it to total quantity purchased. And again, under the formula option, I will type in sigma and then add the rate quantity. Now I'll click on save. We can also add an order ID over here by clicking on add field and then we click on unique numbering. So under the label, I will change it to order ID. You can give any prefix as you want for the order ID. So for example, I will just simply type in order number. Minimum length, I will set it as 1. And then you can give a starting sequence number. So here I will type in 100. My last and final section will be for authentication purpose. So over here for the section name, I will type in authentication. Save this. Here I can add another field to capture the name of the salesperson. So I can give a single line text block for that and name it as name of the salesperson. For authentication, I can add a field and use the signature block. Under label, I will change it to signature of the salesperson. You can also add another field to get the signature of the customer. So for this, under label, I will change it to signature of the customer. And click on save. Your field sales tracker app has now been designed with all the relevant sections and its relevant fields. Now let's go to app home to see how this works. In app home, your app is live and ready to use once you've created your app. So you can see all the sections and their relevant fields, and you can also see the GPS location of the customer. So whenever a field officer pays a visit to a customer, that particular location will show up over here. So now I can go ahead and fill in the details of this app. Now I'll open the next section, which is order details, and fill in this information as well. Now you can see over here there is a link that says add another item. That is because we have made the order details section as a copyable section. So if a person is selecting more than one item to purchase, then I can click on add another item and you can see the section is now copied. So I can select another item over here and give its corresponding price and quantity. Next, when I open the summary section, you can see the total order amount has added the amount for the first item as well as the second item. You can also see the total quantity purchased is 5 plus 3, which is 8. The order ID will be automatically generated by the system once you make a submission. Next, I will click on authentication and fill in these details. Now I can click on submit to make a submission. You can also view this app on the mobile version as well. All you have to do is download the Clappia app from either Play Store or App Store, and the moment you create your app here, you will be able to view it live on the mobile version as well. So let's see how that looks like. Over here you can see the mobile screen with the Clappia app downloaded on it. So I'll go ahead and click on the app. Then I will click on the sales tracker app that we've just created. You can see that the app is live and ready to use. So now I can again go ahead and make a submission. To make a submission, I can just click on submit. To view all your submissions in the mobile app, you can click on view submissions. To view all the details, you can click on any submission. Now let's go back. To view your submissions in the web version, you can click on the submissions tab. You can click on any submission and a right hand panel will appear that has captured all the details. You can see these were the details captured from the mobile app. It is also important to note that the mobile app can work in the offline mode as well. So if you are in an area with no internet connection, you can make submissions. And the moment you get back the internet connection, the submissions will get updated automatically and it will be reflected over here. If you want to download any submission, You can click on the button over here and it will download in a CSV format. If you have any queries regarding the configuration of the Sales Tracker app or any features in Clappia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.